everyone believed DMX was simply angry. They mocked him, labeled him as bitter, and claimed he was only making excuses. But years later, after one controversy after another shook the music industry, people began revisiting one of his old interviews with a completely new perspective.
You got issues with the industry? What's going down with the industry, dog?
The industry is full of a bunch of sucking, riding, bending over the desk, straight up like that. Whoever don't like it, bring it, nigga. Bring it. I don't give a bring it. Bring it.
They got this new breed of rapper that's paying DJs to play their shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They sucking the record label executives, and it's like there's too much of that going on.
A lot of the love I had for wanting to be a part of the industry is not there anymore. I don't even associate myself with the industry.
Suddenly, what had once sounded impossible had millions of people asking the very same question. Was DMX actually trying to warn everyone? For years, rappers have suggested that powerful executives controlled far more than just record deals. DMX was one of the most outspoken voices speaking against it. He claimed there were people at the highest levels of the industry who expected artists to do much more than simply make music if they wanted a chance at success. Back then, almost no one believed what he was saying.
Always stood alone and bloodline.
Hang with niggas. You're not gonna see me at every party, every industry party, all the clubs. I go somewhere quiet, man, shoot pool with me and my mans and them. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of shit I do. You know what I'm saying? My remote control cars, jump on the four wheelers. You know what I mean? I ain't with all that in the club, throwing it up and all that bullshit. I ain't got time for that shit, man. That makes it then you find yourself doing that same shit every fucking day. What are you, a fucking alcoholic? You know what I mean? Come on, man. Give it a fucking break, man. Live a little. You know what I mean? I play with my kids, man. I play with my toy, I play with my dog.
Now, after years of allegations, lawsuits, and public controversies involving some of the biggest figures in entertainment, those old interviews have gained an entirely new meaning. Many fans now feel that DMX's words deserve to be revisited. Nearly 20 years ago, DMX openly spoke out against the music industry, claimed that certain record label executives pressured artists behind closed doors and rewarded those who were willing to follow their rules. According to him, he refused to compromise himself, even if it came at the expense of his own career. During the interview, DMX expressed his frustration over what he witnessed happening around him. He accused some younger rappers of doing whatever powerful executives asked in exchange for promotion, radio airplay, and career opportunities. He also criticized the unequal treatment, saying that other artists received non-stop support while his own music was deliberately held back.
To tell me one time, I said, yo, why I can't have two videos playing at the same time? Oh, because we don't want your videos to compete with each other. But then I turn on the motherfucking TV, I ain't gonna say no artist names, but they got 3 videos back to back.
Exactly.
I'm like, you feeding me fucking bullshit, and you sucking these niggas all crazy, man. What's wrong with you? Yo, I had to punch one nigga in his face up there, man. After that, I was like, I'm not going to the office.
Major influence on the career of P. Diddy. Have you spoken to him since the federal raid?
Yes.
Have you spoken to Sean Combs? Any comment, Mr. Davis? Any comments about Diddy? He credits you as one of his mentors.
And in her new interview with Real Life Street Stars, they actually brought up this weird encounter with Clive Davis to ask Jaguar Wright how she felt about it. So I'm going to go ahead and roll you guys this clip of Jaguar Wright explaining why Clive Davis would act like he couldn't understand questions about Diddy. And you guys let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
You mentioned Clive Davis. They just showed him recently walking into somewhere, and they asked him about Diddy, and he said, "Who?" Is that old age, or does he not? They're not in the same world, or they're in the same world, but they're not cohorts.
He's definitely been his.
Oh, okay.
I would call that the same world.
Okay. It's pretty
And
intertwined.
for him to say Diddy who is his way of saying, I'm not talking about Sean anymore. Maybe he's been playing cozy with the other Sean. Maybe he just got him another Sean.
Okay.
Jay-Z's awful quiet.
Jaguar Wright has repeated a long-standing rumor alleging that Clive Davis played a significant role in helping Bad Boy Records get started. She's also repeated allegations about how that support was supposedly secured. Those claims have never been backed by evidence, and they remain unverified rumors. Publicly known is that Clive Davis became one of the most powerful executives in modern music. Over the course of decades in the industry, he worked with countless successful artists and helped shape the careers of many well-known names. In 2013, Clive Davis released his memoir, The Soundtrack of My Life, in which he publicly revealed that he is bisexual. Following that announcement, many people began wondering whether he had ever been involved in inappropriate relationships with any of his artists, or more specifically, young rappers.
If anyone's gonna know about Diddy's secrets, it's going to be this guy who was his bodyguard in the 90s, and he actually exposes a lot about Diddy.
A lot of people believed that, Usher was groomed by Diddy.
He wasn't only groomed by Diddy, he was groomed by L.A. Reid, the rest of them too, man. Because they knew what happened. Then they came out and brought him back, and all of a sudden, he's getting all the great tracks. He's getting all the songs. They making him into this star, even though he may have been a...
He knew that Diddy was involved with other men, and he also witnessed the weird things going on in his house with young boys such as Usher. He claims that everything Diddy was doing to young boys actually happened to him by his mentor named Clive Davis. This man introduced Diddy to the music industry, and he actually came out as bisexual recently, and it's been said, allegedly, that he forced Diddy to do certain things with him in order for Diddy to start his career. He basically gave Diddy the opportunity to start Bad Boy Records, and if it wasn't for him, then Diddy would be no one.
Over the years, countless stories have circulated online linking Clive Davis to the mysterious deaths of artists who worked with him. One example that is frequently brought up is singer Phyllis Hyman's tragic death has remained the subject of online speculation for many years.
I totally forgot your connection to
all these people.
How deep your connection was to Phyllis Hyman. That story is just sad, and but for her, like that being one of her last interviews, and attributing a lot of the stuff to Clive, man, it's kind of rightfully so. That's why
that I heard them announce her death on Power 99.
Mm-hmm.
I cried because it felt wrong. It felt wrong. I had seen her not long before that at the studio.
Mm-hmm.
Went there one day to intern. I was there with Daniela, my friend who just passed away, the one I was telling you about, who signed to Philly International.
Mm-hmm.
Him and his brother are now both dead. She was happy, and it wasn't because of some guy. Because the story that they tried to tell is that she got dumped by her Asian boyfriend, and that's why she took her own life. Not true. She wouldn't have killed herself over some guy. Whoo! There's so many dark memories around happy ones, and it's just sad. Because as long as you're in this business, as long as you're a part of the industry, you're never truly safe. Never. And at any time, if somebody decides they want to punch your ticket because you're not cooperative, or just because you got the right insurance policy.
Some articles and commentators have claimed that she intended to expose powerful figures before her death.
When it comes to Phyllis Hyman, she had a lot of incidents with Clive Davis, but there was one incident that stands out the most. By the start of 1984, Phyllis Hyman had $50,000 in unpaid bills. She owed a lot of people money, she couldn't pay her staff, and her record label Arista, they were trying to work with her. Money was getting tight, so Phyllis and her manager, they set up a meeting with the record label. The meeting was to talk about her finances and future plans with the label. And I think she was hoping to leave with the check after. But they would shut that down fast, as Phyllis would find out she owes the label $429,000. Also around this time, Clive is locked in on Whitney Houston, who he sees as his next big star. And even after finding out that she owes money, she still tried to make it work with the label. So they have another meeting after that one, and this time around, Phyllis is going in with a clear mind and a clean slate. She wants to make everything right with Clive Davis. The meeting goes great, and for what Clive told her, he wanted to work things out with her. Once she leaves, she gets dropped from the label that same day. Even though he told her he wanted to work things out and wanted to keep working with her. This put her in a bad spot because now she's a free agent, but she still owes them the money.
I don't deal with it very well. I manage to produce and deliver, but personally I haven't dealt with it very well. I've had a lot of emotional ups and downs. As I said earlier, I have begun the process of recovery, so to speak, you know, just trying to feel better about myself, regain my confidence.
As a result, many people believe the only reason Clive was never investigated in connection with Phyllis's death is because he allegedly had friends in powerful positions. Another claim that frequently surfaces in these discussions is that a private meeting allegedly took place at Clive Davis's Beverly Hills home during the mid-1990s, involving music executives, government officials, and other influential figures. According to these rumors, artists were supposedly encouraged to create music that promoted destructive messages, because doing so would serve larger systems.
1995 meeting in Beverly Hills in the home of Clive Davis, who was responsible for the murder of Whitney Houston. I said it. His days are numbered. And there were rappers there from all over the country. They were invited to the home of Clive Davis, along with members of the CIA, FBI, which they didn't understand why the government was there, including many directors and CEOs of the private prisons throughout the United States was at that meeting in the mansion of Clive Davis. And they were telling these rappers, you need to create songs talking about kills, calling black women bees and hoes. You need to get more nasty so we can fill our prisons that we're building. Okay.
You know what's crazy during that time? I can recall when that gangster music came into play.
That's it.
And how they, you know, I don't know if the guys rapping it really knew, but they created the atmosphere.
Yes.
But it went from, I remember guys wanting to wear like the African chains around their neck
Yes.
and dancing and the haircuts, flat tops, Kid and Play,
Flat top, yeah.
Kwame, to the really thugged out and just the gang stuff. And I can recall going into like liquor stores or different places and all they had was blue and red rags.
Right.
It was just like that stuff was all programmed.
It brings us to another phrase that has surfaced repeatedly in online discussions, the so-called gay mafia. Supporters of this theory use the term to describe an alleged network of influential people operating behind the scenes in music, fashion, film, and even politics who supposedly protect one another and influence careers. On the other hand, argue that the phrase is offensive, misleading, and reinforces harmful stereotypes. There is no verified evidence that any such organized group exists. Despite the ongoing debate, the phrase continues to resurface. That's because a surprising number of celebrities have publicly claimed they have either witnessed it themselves or believe that some version of it exists.
You had talked about how you don't do gay jokes because there's a gay mafia.
Yeah. Yeah, you see what he did to Tracy Morgan. And then there's gay mafia. Gay people shut down shit, man. You know, you don't want no dude, no 6 foot, 300-pound guy with some Daisy Dukes on dancing on your line. You know, that'll stop anything. That'll close down a business, Jack.
You and I did an interview in 2011. And this ended up being what you told me was like your biggest interview ever.
The hip hop community is most likely owned by gay. To be honest with
But
you,
you think they'll be?
They're owned by gay. I happen to think there's a gay mafia in hip hop.
Right.
Not rappers. You know, the editorial presidents of magazines. Sure. The PDs at radio stations. The people who give you award at award shows. This is the fucking gay mafia, my man.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? They are in power. So why wouldn't a guy come out and say, yo, I'm gay, and get that type of love? I mean, Lady Gaga, I don't know if she's gay, but she running with that gay shit for real. And she is winning.
So,
rap music, nah, it ain't no different.
different with
Everybody got somebody gay in their house, in their family. I'm not saying in their same house, but in their family, somebody got somebody gay.
Kanye and A$AP Rocky recently wore skirts and dresses.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with both?
Yeah.
What do you think of this fashion?
Really? Remember, I am hip hop.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny how when men get older in hip hop, they're still, well respected, well versed, Kool Herc, you know what I'm saying, and Red Alert, and the legends, KRS-One. You put me in there, and all of a sudden it's like, oh no, Wendy's a talk show lady. No. I listened to Big L on the way to work this morning. I am familiar with Kanye and A$AP and the kilts.
Right. Well, Kanye had the kilt, and then A$AP had the long dress.
Yeah.
Have you seen the A$AP picture?
Yeah, I'm not down with any of that. I mean, wouldn't be my man.
No.
No.
We brought in Lord Jamar from Brand Nubian because he had made some comments about that.
What did he say?
Well, he talked about the whole feminization of hip hop culture from the 80s on.
I think he's taking the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, I mean, he talked about how when we were younger, you would wear an ear in your left ear, and that was considered straight, and ear in your right ear, that'd be gay, and then at one point, people started wearing both earrings, and and
then they started wearing girl pants, and then they're wearing jeggings, and then, yes, it's very effeminized, but be very clear, there were lots of homosexuals in hip-hop back in the 80s too, that was what's worse, hip-hop wearing skirts or hip-hop being closeted and having a plethora of kids to prove manhood that, and denial of something that you shouldn't have to deny, which is your sexuality. Mm-hmm. So I hear what Jamar is saying, but we come from a very homosexual era of hip hop as well. There was a radio personality once upon a time. Her name was Wendy Williams, and she was practically burned at the stake for talking about such.
For years, Snort's rumors have circulated claiming that powerful individuals collected compromising footage of celebrities to use as leverage behind the scenes. Most of those stories have never been proven. But during one conversation, media personalities Jason Lee and Vlad said they had personally encountered attempts to expose major rappers using private material.
Someone I know, a big dog in media, said that they were sent a DVD. Okay. So, you can see how old this story is already.
Elliot Wilson. No,
not Elliot Wilson. Someone that everybody knows.
Okay.
They were sent a DVD, or they popped it in. It was a rapper that everybody knows with a girl, and the girl's using a strap-on on him.
Okay.
Is that gay?
No, because she's a girl. I know, look, listen, everybody right now is clutching their gay pearls because they're like, Vlad, why did you bring this gay man on your show to tell us that this shit ain't gay? This is not trickery, this is just whatever. And again, I think that everybody has their own feelings about what human sexuality is. I think that people should explore whatever they feel comfortable with and then decide to be what they want. Or be led by your faith and believe that certain things are an abomination. If that's what I'm fine with people believing whatever they want. But the reason why I promote sexual fluidity or sexual exploration is because I believe that people should be able to be happy with who they are. I know so many people, and there's a rapper, I'm not even gonna say his name because I'm sure he watches your show, and I know he knows I gave him, I did a big one for him. This trans person had sent me text messages and nudes of this person and their exchange and all that, and they were trying to out them. And I talked to that trans person about how bad it was for our community to out the person, because this is the very thing that makes people violent towards people when they feel like they're going to be outed. And they never outed him, but I definitely hit the rapper up and sent him the pictures and the text message, and we got on the phone, and for me to be sending it to him, they were pretty uncomfortable.
I bet.
Because, it was Jason Lee from Hollywood Unlocked doing it. But, I told them, I said, at least be careful how you moving around, but at the same time, be comfortable with who you are. This person will never come out, will never share. But, those are the things where, like, I feel that I feel bad for the people who aren't able to live in their own truth. And I will say that I'm grateful that the people that I've had experiences with, that I will say are relationships, have been people that have either been straight or wanted to explore, or that were gay, or that were straight, explored, and went back. But nonetheless, I was fine with the experience.
They would have went there and they found guns, drugs, and Diddy was there, they would have brought him in. You know what I'm saying? They would have brought him in. Like they brought his sons in. And then they want to know, well, why are these unlicensed guns in the house? Who drugs these belong to? All those things like that. But a lot of people probably believe that, you know, they just want to know, and the government want to know what things those people were doing on those tapes and who was doing shit on those tapes. Because I heard they found like 250 cameras or something like that.
That's what they say. They said they found a lot of cameras.
Right.
There's a lot of rumors about him recording some of these parties, and he's using a lot of this stuff for blackmail, like a lot of celebrities, even as far as politicians. You know, I think even Little Rod said that Diddy had every room taped and bugged.
Right. Well, in his affidavit, his deposition that he gave to the courts, he said every room was bugged, and that he did have tapes and information on a lot of different celebrities and people in the music business, people that were in politicians, and like I said, in other platforms, people that was in the ministry. Allegedly.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, if the feds got their hands on these tapes, you could very well see like a domino effect of shit coming down on everybody.
It depends on what's on the tapes.
It was like celebrities was fucking each other. Like all the movie stars and all the actresses was fucking niggas like it was nothing. They was on that powder heavy, but they was fucking, hey, how you doing? What's down with you? Oh yeah. That's how it was. So I liked the freak offs, so I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping, but it was fun to me when I was young and I was there. It was fun to me. I was a kid in a candy store, looking at all these actresses that you grow up watching, you heard me, and these hoes sucking dick and fucking and doing powder and all types of wild foolishness. But if that's a crime, then sign me up. I like to go for a celebrity bit that you'll never get no play from if you would have met her regularly. Why not? And it was kind of like a situation towards, you know, what you see in here don't go outside. It was kind of like that, if that makes sense. Whatever happens in here stays in here, because everybody got something to lose in here. So it was kind of like that too. So I guess that made people be okay and willingly able to do whatever they wanted to do in there. You heard me? Because they knew that at the end of the day, it wasn't going to come back out up there. That's why people were so eager and fun to do what they wanted to do in there. Just my opinion, because everybody has something to lose.
Whether someone believes these stories or dismisses them as nothing more than rumors, one thing remains certain. DMX's interviews are being viewed in a very different light today than they were when he originally gave them. Now, the question has changed from whether DMX was simply angry to whether he was seeing something that others were too afraid to speak about.